Good evening, friends and family, and thank you for coming to another night with Behind Black Business, which is our weekly podcast sponsored by Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities. And as you know, we are great proponents of supporting Black businesses. This is the way we circulate dollars in our communities. This is how we build communities. And tonight we have a very special guest. All of our guests are special, but this one is very, very special. Jamee Denman. Jamee, I want to thank you very much for coming tonight. And as you can see, Jamee is on the road. But Jamee is taking care of business. So, Jamee, thank you for coming.
No
All
problem.
right. Jamee is the co-owner of Sneakerville. All right. And we're going to talk about Sneakerville tonight. But before we do that, um, just making a few announcements here. As you know, we're a nonprofit organization, and we're working very hard, as I said earlier, to circulate those dollars in the community by supporting Black-owned businesses, because Black-owned businesses are more likely to hire people from our community. They're more likely to do business with other Black entrepreneurs. They serve as mentors in our community. They're giving back. And Jamee and Sneakerville is just a great example of this, a great example of this as we talk to her about her business. And so we have to support one another. I don't know how much clearer that needs to be made to us today, but that is something that we have to do. Here at Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities, we have this podcast every week to make you aware of these businesses so you will support them. We want our businesses to support each other. And we also help businesses we've gone to battle with some businesses that have been threatened to be closed. We raise dollars to help businesses build websites. We do a lot of things, and you will see us at some of the events where we're talking to you about what we're doing. We're great proponents of our Black-owned bookstores. Chicago once had 22 Black-owned bookstores. We were down to 2, but there is a continued resurgence of Black bookstores in our community. And that is so important, so that we are reading, and we are reading about our history, and we are reading about our perspectives. And it's important to us as adults and to our children. And so we feature a Black bookstore on our website every month. Last month, it was the Underground Bookstore. And in addition to featuring the bookstore, we also give a book away. And so last month, it was Powernomics by Claude Anderson. Claude Anderson has a 5-year plan strategy for building Black communities. And the winner was Lewis Burton of Durham, North Carolina. So, Mr. Burton, I want to thank you very much. You will receive a copy of that book free of charge. We'll pay for the postage and everything, and it'll be coming from the Underground Bookstore. This month, our bookstore is Afriware. Afriware is located in the Eisenhower Tower at 1701 First Avenue in Maywood. And Afriware has been around a long time. They even have some books in Trinity Church. And so the book for this month is a collection of poetry by Poet Laureate and CEO and President of the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, Greg Brown. And the name of his book is Journey of My Soul. And I have read many of the poetry in that, many of the poems in that book, and it's a wonderful and inspirational read. So that's the book that we're giving away this month. All you have to do is subscribe to rrgbc.org, and you will win a copy of, you can be eligible to win a copy of that book. rrgbc.org. You can also go to rrgbc.org and you can purchase from our online store and you can donate. Lastly, we mentioned the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. They are a Black-owned financial institution here in Chicago. And in order for banks to thrive, they need you to make deposits. So we're asking you to open an account at the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. They have been using their efforts and their dollars to give financial literacy classes, trying to help Black people with their finances. Banks have a social responsibility to the people that that are depositing money into their banks. And so many of our banks are not giving back and are not serving the community like they should. But the Southside Community Federal Credit Union is doing a great job here in Chicago. They're located on 55th and Wentworth in the mall. So please visit the Southside Community Federal Credit Union and open up an account. And lastly, regarding our books, please go to Save Black Bookstores in Chicago at change.org and sign our petition. We want our local schools and our local libraries to give contracts to our local Black bookstores. So please go and sign that petition. Save Black Bookstores, Chicago at change.org. Okay. All right. So now, Jamee. Jamee is the co-owner of Sneakerville. Jamee, you own this business with your dad. Is it just you and your dad, or you and other members of your family?
Just me and my dad.
You and your dad, and his name is James
Yes,
Denman,
James
right?
Denman. Yes.
All right. Absolutely. And this is a wonderful establishment. I guess you can kind of have an idea of what it's about by the name of it, Sneakerville. They have two locations, one in Bronzeville and
Yes.
one in Hyde Park. Can you give the addresses?
Yes, so the one in Bronzeville is 122 East 35th Street. That's Chicago, Illinois 60616. The Hyde Park location is 5241 South Harper Avenue. That's Chicago, Illinois as well, 60616 or 15, I'm sorry. 60615.
Okay, okay. So Jamie is coming from a family with a legacy of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
You also own a Harold's Chicken.
Yes,
Can you tell us about that?
we have two Harold's Chickens locations. One being downtown, 1450 South Michigan. It's a bar and grill, and the second location, 35th in Indiana, 124 East 35th Street. This location is actually next door to my shoe store on 35th. Um,
Okay,
First one being 35th. That was like our first venture. It's now been there going on 5 years. We came
okay,
from a location on Vernon, 79th and Vernon first. That was when we started our first Heroes Chicken, and then moved there to 35th, and now second location, 1450 South Michigan. Bigger
okay.
location, lots of space, plenty of room for families, friends, parties, gatherings, things like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this is wonderful. And when I say that you come from a legacy of entrepreneurs, and I'm looking at the number of businesses that you already have here in the Chicago area, and it reminds me of Out of the Past Records, who started in the 50s over on the west side of Chicago. And she told me that she once owned 10 businesses.
Hmm. Yeah, she
So
had her work cut out for her then.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. But hey, you're not so far behind her with
No,
four businesses.
yeah,
That is absolutely wonderful. And you said you started the Harold's Chicken 5 years ago?
yes. Well, that was the 35th location. So I would say we've been in it. I was about 13 or 14 when we first started Heroes, but that wasn't our first business. My dad's first business was actually on 79th as well. It was called Jamie's Ultimate Italian Beef and Pizza. So I was just a kid when he started that. I would say I was still in like grammar school, maybe like third or fourth grade. And I didn't really know the meaning just yet of having, a business to be named after you and, creating entrepreneurship and learning how to run a business. But I did that at a
Mhm.
young age. So it started long ago, but just now being to where I'm a co owner of one of our businesses.
Wow, that is really interesting. Well, Jamie, why don't you give us some of your background so we know who Jamie is, because you're bringing a lot to this picture here, but where you went to school, and and how you kind of evolved into this particular business.
Sure. So I went to Bogan High School in Chicago. I was a full time basketball athlete there. I finished with a full scholarship to go to Cal State Bakersfield. That was a Division I college. Full scholarship athlete. I then transferred to Wilberforce. I graduated from there. I have a political science degree. Um, I graduated from there in 2021. Came
Mm-hmm.
home, dove right into the family business. Been doing that ever since, starting with the Heralds and then came to sneaker stores. How that started is a little weird the way we tell the story, but we were looking for something new to do and it kind of fell into our hands. I always was very interested in sneakers, always wore sneakers, but never really thought to sell them. It wasn't until my dad made some connections, met some people, and kind of brought it to my attention that this may be a good game to get into. Since then, we've started and haven't looked back since. We started with our one store. That store's been there for now a year and about 4 or 5 months. And
Okay.
now we have a new store.
So okay, working with your dad coming up as a kid, there's another shoe store in Hyde Park, Wesley's,
Mm-hmm.
and he grew up with his dad in the business.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
what was it about growing up in a family and them owning a business? How was life different for you than
Um,
than your friends?
yes, it was very different. I more so had to work for things opposed to just being able to get them. Not because I wasn't able to get it just because he wanted to probably give it to me, but it taught me a sense of entrepreneurship, how to work to obtain the money that I needed to be able to do whatever I wanted to do. So I spent a lot of time as a kid working or, just being around the atmosphere of business to where now I'm at 26 and I can be able to do business because it's like it's embedded in me. I've been doing it since I was just a kid. So it
Did
all
you
worked
did you
out.
enjoy it? Did you enjoy it as a
Yes,
kid?
yes, I enjoyed it as a kid. I was the kid that wanted to do everything, from the cash register to assembling things in the store. I just always wanted to help. I've always been a helpful kid, helpful human being as in just in general. So as a kid, it wasn't like a push or a force. It was just something that I saw, and being that I saw my parents being so into business and so they just wanted to, this is what they did every day. It was a lifestyle. So it was just something that I always knew how to do. It wasn't an option. I had to
Mhm.
show up. My mom had to go to her stores and open the stores. I had to go to. My dad had to go. I had to go too. So it wasn't too bad. It helped. It worked out in I guess.
Now how old were you when you started working in the family in the store? How old do you think you were?
I want to say it was so long ago. I want to say I was at least like 7. I was so young. I was
Oh
always a
wow.
super tall kid that they saw, and everyone thought that I was older than what I was, and my mom was like, no, 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 she's only, 5 or 6. But I was so advanced because I was so hands on with everything that my parents had going on from business. It was just, it was a given.
Wow. So that was a great experience that you were having. Now you said you played basketball, and I know this is another area where you can really develop as a person. You
Yes,
learn about working with people, you learn about working as a team. What do
yes,
you think being in and you started in basketball in high school, right?
yes. I started a little bit before high school, grammar school. I started basketball. I did high school, college, and that's where I finished. After I graduated from school, I was done with basketball. I now coach basketball. My first year
Okay.
back home from school, I was the head coach for my high school, Bogan High School, that I graduated from.
Oh,
I
wow.
since then let that position go, but I'm now the assistant coach for Mac Urban Fire. It's a travel AAU basketball team, and I'm also the program director for the small fry portion of the Mac Urban Fire um, basketball team, AAU team. Um, that plays a major part in what you said, me being me,
Uh-huh.
developing those skills to be able to deal with people, other people, kids, and all that good stuff. I think it has found its way into my business too. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
cater my business to kids now for the sneaker stores, especially my 35th location. Um, we have a lot of kids in the area at the Hyde Park location too. We have Kenwood there and a university. So I do like things where they can do leadway to make sure that they're able to obtain the shoes that they want to obtain no matter what. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
the what I'm
Mm-hmm.
shooting for, opposed to when you see the typical resale store, boutique luxury shoe store. It's like, it's come in and pay. Yes, it's that price and that's what it is. I personally, myself and my dad, we don't take that approach. The things might be at a higher price than retail, but I do make it obtainable. I do work with the kids in the area to try to make sure that they can get nice shoes, no matter what the case may be. Whether they have to give me $100 now and 100 later, just making it work out for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And see, this is like we were saying how important our Black businesses are because you can be sensitive to the needs of people in the community. And you just have to know, Jamie, how I don't know if you know how inspiring you are, because children watch you. We can say a lot to them and we can talk to them, but they watch what you're doing and they're watching you and they're looking at you and seeing what you're doing and you're being successful and you're giving back to them. And this is what it's all about, when you're talking about building
Yes,
a community. And this is why our Black owned businesses are so important, is that you are able to give back in those ways. And family, we're talking to Jamie at Sneakerville 88. They have two locations in Bronzeville, 122 East 35th Street, and Hyde Park, 5241 South Harper. They also own two Harold's Chicken locations. And so one is right next to the one in Bronzeville, correct? Right next door. The Harold's Chicken is right next
yes,
door. Right.
yes,
Okay. And so Jamie, you've been in basketball, you have a family of entrepreneurs, and all of this working with your family and working in basketball have built a lot of character and a lot of skill in you in terms of knowing how to run a business. So
yes.
being in business, a lot of people want to start a business. A lot of people said there are a
Mhm.
lot of young people out here now that they have their own business, right?
Yes, yes.
What is your day like? What is a day like for you?
Oh gosh, the day for me is crazy. So starts with opening a store. I open my store in Hyde Park. That's the location I like have to open. I have someone that opens the 35th location. I start there, open, get in there. I do inventory, putting in new shipment. That's something that's kind of required to, take things out of stock and that have been sold from the previous days. The registers, getting those all set up for the day. I do put out new inventory. I just recently did that. So I would just say, like, my day as of last week, it was like getting all new inventory in. I actually had a deadline that I was pushing because my 35th location had been closed for a week so that I can get new shoes in, new clothes, kind of revamped because after starting that Hyde Park location, I kind of slacked a little bit on stocking everything up for that location. So I closed down and I had
Okay.
to push a real date, a super hard date for me. I got the shoes in the day before the date, which was the
Mm-hmm.
29th. I got them in the 28th, and I had to have them out by the 29th. I think I stayed in the store till about 11 o'clock that night to stock.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very time consuming. It really never stops when it comes down to the day to day. You have to sell shoes while you're in the store, but you also have other things that you can be doing online at all points in time when it comes to listing shoes. I probably have over 400 pair of shoes that have to go online to for online sales, um, pushing sales other than just in the store. So pushing the online
Okay.
website, posting it on other things like eBay, Amazon, trying to get these shoes to sell other places. It's a lot of work when you invest a lot of money into something and then having to sell it is the next thing. So just getting the money is one part, but seeing the stuff sell and promoting it and getting to be that person that people actually come to buy the stuff from when it's 100 other people that sell the same thing is like the
Uh-huh.
hard part. So that's just one thing I would say, when starting a business, if I could give any advice, is beyond just the investment or having the money to invest into your business. It's far beyond that. The marketing plays a lot of part. The time you have to invest into promoting and building an actual brand is huge. It's huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you're putting in all of this work, and so there's lots of challenges. What would you say are some of your greatest challenges?
Some of my greatest challenges is staying consistent with products and just consistent with the business overall. When you have something like what I have, it's shoes. So they're sitting on the wall. I know what they're worth and what I can get from them if I continue to
Mm-hmm.
push and just continue to promote and push what I'm trying to sell. So staying consistent is super
Mm-hmm.
important. You can sometimes slack in it, like, okay, I posted a shoe yesterday, I'm not gonna post it again today. But to continue to post that, it's continue to push it. People, some of them might not have saw it yesterday, but they might see it today. So being consistent
Mm-hmm.
is not losing faith in something because regardless, these shoes have value. No matter what,
Sure.
when, where, what time, they have value. They may decrease value, they may increase value, but they never depreciate. It'll never be a point where I say like, hey, this is worth $0. So continue to keep faith in the fact that the things that I have will sell is probably the most challenging part of this. It's not something that like has to sell, maybe like food. Okay, I have a Harold's chicken, and yes, the chicken will sell. Eventually, it's going to sell no matter what. Someone's going to come in and get some
Mm-hmm.
Harold's chicken. They're going to eat. But these shoes, it's not, I'm not selling the same piece of chicken. I'm selling a different style, a different color, a different number. It's so many different things that play into this shoe thing. So it's
Sure.
challenging, but consistency is the hardest part.
And what would you say are the benefits?
The benefits is the luxury of having places that I look at it like a bank. I have a bank with all these things on the wall, and it's like no matter what, they hold value. It's like they never lose value. It's there regardless. I mean, I can, opposed to selling chicken, I can maybe sell you. If I get one customer in a chicken place, I probably have the potential of maybe making $20 off of them just coming in to buy, one meal for themselves. That's the max. But shoes, you can come in and I can sell you one shoe and it can potentially cost you $400, $300, $200. So that's the gain in it. You can have a bad day and still have a good day just from selling, one pair of shoes or two pair of shoes. But
Mm-hmm.
coming into chicken
Mm-hmm.
or selling chicken, I can have, if I sell one order of chicken in a day, I'm having a terrible day. I made no profit and I'm like, probably totally stressed out, but I could sell one shoe and it's like, okay, it's not too bad. We let it see another day. We'll try again tomorrow.
Okay, okay, okay. You got the right attitude. I know I've talked
Yeah.
to a number of young people that want to have a business, and I often hear them say they want to be happy. What would be your
Hmm.
response to that?
Okay.
Yeah, they
Um,
want to be happy.
uh, it takes a little time to get there. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm not happy, but to be happy within your business and, just full of joy and all that, it takes a lot to get to that point. I wouldn't say that that's something that you should just expect soon as you jump into it. It comes with the joy, of course, of being able to accomplish these type of things. This isn't something that's easy. It's not easy to open a business. It's not easy to start a business. It's not easy to obtain a storefront, any of that. But as far as the happiness goes, I just say stick with it, and it gets brighter as you go on. It gets better. Don't be so discouraged if you don't see the
Okay.
happiness when you first dive in, because I'm not happy every day at all. Sometimes I'm pretty much overwhelmed. It's very overwhelming because, as I said,
Hmm.
it's a job that's never done. So if you're a person that lets your mind wander when you're, going into business, it's your day's never done. You could probably stress
Hmm.
yourself out just sitting there
Okay.
thinking like I could be doing this while I'm, sitting here. So I don't know.
But
The
I'm
happiness,
I'm
it'll
sure
come.
you
See
have
it through.
I'm sure you have a vision and you have a goal, and your work is something that you have to work towards.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Definitely
Okay.
have to see it through. You have to see the vision through.
Okay. Well, listen, I want to talk about Sneakerville here because when I first came in the store, um, I thought it was just a sports store, with gym shoes. I saw gym shoes, and I saw some clothing items, some athletic wear, and I thought everything looked really cool, you know. Um, but this is a special store or boutique, or
Yes.
I guess we would. How would you categorize Sneakerville?
So Sneakerville is a luxury resale store, sneaker store.
Okay.
Um, the difference, I would say, than your typical store, maybe like DTLR, Foot Locker, things of that nature. You're getting like shoes that release that you probably can't get anymore. So it's luxury. It's giving, last chance, um, high end shoes that you're trying to obtain. And normally people, they go on the sneakers app and they try to obtain it for the retail price, and it's like it's hit or miss. You 9 times out of 10 you won't score. So now you're looking at your next option, and that's to go and obtain it from a luxury store like mine that can offer it at not the retail price, but a little bit more for than what you would usually pay.
So this is a whole different sales experience that you're having. Someone come in the store and the know the shoes, um, know the
Hmm.
value of the shoes. Know the history. When
Yes.
people come into your store, what do they need to know? About the products.
I think that they need to know that everything is obtainable. I have different selection of customers. Like we have all different types of customers. Like you said, there's sneakerheads. There's people that are willing to invest into this because this is something that is a hobby for them. And then you have people
Mhm.
that come into the store, as you said, and it's like, okay, it's a sports store, it's a shoe store, and I'm coming to grab a pair of shoes. They're not maybe used to paying, 200 to 300, $400 for a pair of shoes, or some shoes being at even,
Mhm.
dollars, for example, Travis Scott's, or, those shoes that the high end sneakerheads go out to obtain and they'll pay anything for it. So I think it's something that when people come, they need to know, don't just turn around because, oh, okay, now I know this is a high end luxury store. No, it's high end luxury, but this particular store, Sneakerville 88, is high end luxury, but I do make it affordable. I do make it obtainable for everyone, not
Mhm.
just, the people that purchase this stuff on a day to day, as in a sneakerhead or someone that does it for a hobby.
And I think also with any product, with sometimes the customer need, you have people that, like I said, are going to come in there and they know they know these shoes. They're
Yes,
investors,
yes,
and they know the value of these shoes. It's like people collect stamps and different things like that, and they know what the long time investment is. And then for other people, do you educate people when they come in? Because I think it's a learning curve, and I think more people would be interested if we were able to educate them about this whole process and what the possibilities are, in purchasing these shoes. So do you ever get into those kinds of conversations with your
yes.
customers?
I do. The ones that want to engage. Most people don't know so much,
Mm-hmm.
but I do get a select few that do, that are really into it. I just had a guy come in, his sneaker collection was sick. Like, he showed me the picture of his whole sneaker room in his house. And, those are the people that I can go into detail with, have those conversations, about the hot sneakers and what's catchy about each one and the history on them and all that. But for the most part, people just like the shoes. They like the color. They
Mm-hmm.
like Jordans. They like Yeezys, and they want to buy. But the ones that know what they know, they're hard in it. Those are the ones that are great to talk to always.
Okay, because I would be one of those people. I would be one of those people that would really want to look at the, investment in. I know when I came in, I saw the Easies. I didn't know that that's what they were, and so for somebody like myself, looking at the sneakers, yeah, I would need to have that conversation, you know, um,
Sure.
to help take me down that help take me down that road. So
Yeah.
like the people that you have working in the store, for you, are they able to articulate that to the different customers?
Yes, for the most part, everyone can articulate. Um, so with that, that's something that's really hard to obtain knowledge on when it comes down to the shoes. There's so many pair of Dunks, there's so many pair of Jordans. So to have someone to just know every shoe, that's like something that's rare to come by, or know
Hmm.
the history on all of the shoes, that's like, man, if I can have three employees like that, I would, all that's to die for. But
Okay,
to be able to just have common conversation and know enough to be able to sell the shoe is great. But to everything is a learning curve. For
sure.
me, it's a learning curve every day. For my dad, it's a learning curve every day. It's I don't think anybody that sells sneakers, wears sneakers, or is in the hobby of sneakers can tell you like I know everything about sneakers. I know every shoe because it's a million of million and one shoes. But it is something that we are able to do in store
So what are some of the
station.
brands that you have in the store, in your stores now?
So we have, as far as clothing, we have Babe. We have um, Visionary is actually my little cousin. He goes to school at Hyde Park. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a visionary art school there. So he started his own clothing line. That was his like first venture of entrepreneurship that came from my dad. That's how he started him out. It's that's he has like two. It's like open world and visionary. We have essentials.
So
That's
so now he has a okay, so now I know when I come in the store, I see clothing items and I see shoes. You
yeah.
know, I see sweatshirts and I see bottoms, you know, and I see the sweatpants, different kind of leggings.
Yep,
Um,
essential leggings, gallery department, babe, antisocial club. These are all brands that are in high demand right now. That's just how I can shoot it. I have Sneakerville hoodies. I Am Dad is a big brand that we have. Close friend of my dad, he has his brand in there. It's called I Am Dad. I have No Cap. It's like a hat brand that we have in there. So a bunch of different people that have brands that are in the community that we allow to come in. That's something that I'm big on. I do allow people that have small business to come in and put their brands in the store. If they
okay.
would like to do business with me, I always make that an opportunity.
Okay. Now, are these mostly black owned brands or do you have a variety?
Yes,
Most
yes, they are black owned brand.
okay.
Yes, all of the brands are black owned brands.
Now that's what's really so special, you know, that we have
Yes,
brands because most of the time when people go into a shoe store, they or a lot of clothing stores, you do not see black brands of clothing and especially black brands of shoes. And so this is very special. This is very unique. And so to know, yeah, you have some Michael Jordans. Everybody knows Michael Jordans. Everybody knows Kanye,
yes,
you know, and his shoes. But then you have
yes,
other people, and some of them are celebrities, okay, like
yes,
Michael and Kanye would be celebrities. But then you're telling me that you
yes,
also have local people. And
yes,
a lot of these are limited editions, even with the local people.
yes.
Okay. So the people, so
And that's
when I go in and I see the shoes on the racks, most of them resale or any of them new?
so when we say resale, that just means that we purchased them and they're not at retail. Retail is when you're getting them for the price that they were distributed from the manufacturer, such as like Nike, Jordan, stuff like that, Yeezy. So now resale, everything is brand new. So when you
Mhm.
say resale, it kind of the terms are different when you're in the sneaker business. Resale just means, they're still new, but they can be sold at retail, resale, and not be new. But everything that comes out of my store is new. I
Is
am
new.
not at the point to where I accept used product for resale,
Hmm.
but that is a great game to go into.
Okay.
Um, I know a lot of business owners that have, the same kind of stores that I have, and
Sure.
they sell used shoes that are, resale, and they still go for a great rate because, again, some of these sneakers are hard to find. These
Hmm.
are rare. Some things that you won't see again, they won't be made again. This color won't come out again. They won't see it again. So if they're able to see it used, new, however, some people are just, willing to go out on the limb and just make that purchase.
So that would be like a pair of gym shoes that Michael Jordan maybe actually wore.
Could be,
Uh,
yes. So there's shoes that are worth thousands. I mean, like, I just, it's crazy. So, like, people would never believe it, but I know if you go on, like, StockX, there's, like, shoes worth thousands of dollars, depending on what it is.
mhm.
Lobsters, um, lobsters are, some of them are going for thousands right now. Travis Scott's is just it's crazy. The sneaker game is crazy. You can purchase a shoe for any amount of money these days.
Wow. So who are some of the celebrities that are actually putting these shoes out now?
Oh wow, a lot. So we got John Morant. He has a shoe. Who else has a shoe? Travis Scott. He has a shoe, a collab. It's like a long list of people, like plenty of celebrities. You know, they collab on shoes and they create their own shoes. NBA players, especially, all of them, pretty much. You know, they sign a deal with a Nike or a Jordan, and they come out with their own shoe.
Hmm. Wow. That's and like I said, this is very interesting. That
LeBron,
people are coming into the store and they're not just purchasing, but they're actually investing.
yes,
They're actually operating as investors. And so, would being in basketball have inspired some of this that you would know about this? You think that had some inspiration?
yes, of course it did. Being a basketball player, having on the right pair of shoes was always important. You know, it was like it. You don't come to play with the wrong shoe on. You know,
Hmm.
so it was always something that was like big. You know, going to get the best shoes to play in, the most comfortable, or what's trending as far as shoe wise. So it's always been a big thing for me. So to be able to now sell the shoes that I was once, going to the store to pick out, is just amazing. It's kind of surreal sometimes.
Wow. I can imagine. And now you're on your way to a basketball event now, right? With your team.
Yes, we're actually doing a fundraiser right now, and we're doing they like sell the double goods popcorn, and then whoever the winner is, like that sells the most, will be getting a pair of sneakers from Sneakerville.
Okay.
So they get a $250 limit, and they're able to get whoever wins. So it's a hard competition right now. So I do factor in the shoe store with the basketball and all that. It plays a major part. My kids are always asking me about shoes. They want shoes. They want shoes. They want
They
shoes.
want
So
shoes. They want
it
shoes.
works out. Yes.
Wow. Well, we're talking with um, Jamie, co-owner of Sneakerville, which is a very special store that sells special shoes and special clothing items. Many are limited editions, uh, and they're mostly branded by Black owners. And that's what makes this store even more special. And they have two locations, one at 122 East 35th Street and one at 5241 South Harper. So that puts them in Bronzeville and Hyde Park locations. And this is a special store because it's not just about coming in and buying shoes, but it's for those collectors and investors of special clothing item and special shoe wear. And so this is a very interesting store. And like I said, when I walked in, I had no idea that this is what I was walking into. So outside of shoes and clothing wear, are there other items that you would be offering or considering offering in the future?
Socks, hats, clothing, sneakers. That's pretty much it. Jeans, maybe jogging pants and things like that, leggings, all type of like sporting gear I'm open to.
Okay. And I'm sure that this is also encouraging a number of people in the community locally to start producing, and branding their own clothing item. Have you thought about doing that yourself?
Yes, yes, I have. But again, this is a non-stop job as
Hmm.
far as the shoes go. So diving into like the clothing, I have like a few things that, Sneakerville branding, but to dive into it and really start a line and like be consistent with dropping new gear is like a lot. So I think I have to start with really pushing the shoe thing and
Hmm.
really getting it out there and, getting it to be more of a big thing, a bigger thing, more sales, and then I could dive in harder on creating a real brand as far as clothing goes for Sneakerville.
Okay, okay. And so what is your, how many more stores would you like to open?
Um, oh gosh, right, two is so overwhelming right now. So, I just see them in the future. I want to be in another state with Sneakerville. Um, that's my next goal, honestly. So I do see more for myself personally. My own stores. I see Atlanta. I want a store in Atlanta. I see that to be like a big thing. I like Atlanta. I like the traffic there. So I think
Mhm.
that'll be a great place for another store. But I see more in the future for sure.
Okay, okay. And the wonderful thing here is, as we have mentioned earlier, you come from a legacy of family that were entrepreneurs, and people coming together and starting a business is it's a good thing. A lot of people try to do it out here alone. And so what would you say to people, to families? uh, that might be interested in putting a business together?
I would say that I know everyone's like first mind and business and family don't mix, or not to do that. But sometimes it's not too bad as long as it's somebody that could actually trust or build a bond with. Being that it's my dad, that's kind of like a, father daughter bond that's just, I don't want to say a given, but it was there. But it's not so bad, take the go out on the limb, take the chance. It'll work out. It could work out, but no, don't be afraid to take the chance because it worked out for me. So it could work out for you.
Mhm.
It could work out for the next person. Everyone's different. So don't just go with that first mind that everyone goes with that. Don't do business with family. It could work. It works. It's working.
It's working. It's working. Even
It's
friends,
working.
I think friends can
Yeah.
come together. You know,
Yes.
I think that's important, and I think that's what's really great about this is that you've been able to come together with your family. And for some people, if they can't come together with their family, maybe they can do this with their friends. As opposed to trying to just do this um, alone. Um, One other question I wanted to ask, given that this is a Black-owned business and given the amount of investment in the Black community that your business has in terms of the product itself, um, in terms of people that you're working with, um, who are typically your customers?
Typically, my customers are kids. I want to say kids, and then like the older generation, I do get a lot of customers, but it's gonna be people that's like I said, sneakerheads because it is a high end thing. If the
So
things are
now, so
priced
now
better,
when you say kids, how old? What age range?
so I'm saying like teenagers. So I shouldn't say kids, teenagers. I
Okay.
would say like 17, well 16. I even say like 15 to 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. That they see the they see the value, they see the investment, and they're able to come up with the money. And you
Yes.
make it,
Yes.
and you say you're making it possible for them to be able to
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
Well, also, my last question here, I want to ask you. There's been a conversation about reparations a lot. And so, given the types of businesses that you're in, the experiences that you're having in your business, how could you see reparations being beneficial? Where would you see this being of a benefit? Okay, we have reparations now. What kind of things do you think would be helpful to you under the conversation of reparations? Okay, we just lost Jamie. Um, Jamie is the co-owner of Sneakerville. And Sneakerville is a boutique. There are two locations, one in Bronzeville, one in Hyde Park. The one in Bronzeville is at 122 East 35th Street, and the one in Hyde Park is at 5241 South Harper. And Jamie was on her way to basketball tournament as she was giving this interview, and it looks like we've dropped the call, so I'm not sure if she's going to be able to come back. But we're asking you to please support this business, Sneakerville, because Sneakerville is definitely doing business with other Black entrepreneurs. Sneakerville is serving as mentors to the young people and other aspiring entrepreneurs in our community. And so Sneakerville is definitely circulating the dollar. And I really they also have a Harold's Chicken, two locations with Harold's Chicken, and so this is a whole family with a legacy of entrepreneurship. Let's see if what happened to Jamie here. She's calling me. Hello.
Yeah, I think I'm having bad signal over the road.
Okay. All right. So this is
sorry.
that's okay, but this is Jamie calling me. We know the weather is bad out here, and she's lost her signal. Yeah, absolutely. So, Jamie, we're going to end the podcast, but I do want to thank you for coming on. We didn't get to answer that last question, but I do want to thank you for coming on, and I do wish you well. I'm sure you're going to do well, and I will be visiting the store again soon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
I look forward to having you in the store.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Have a great night.
All right. Okay. So that's Jamie. She was calling me back to let me know that she had lost her signal. But again, Sneakerville, located at 122 East 35th and 5241 South Harper. We also want to remind you to go to our podcast, our website rather, at rrgbc.org and subscribe. You can become a winner for our book of the month, which is Journey of My Soul by Greg Brown. And it is a culmination of poems that he has written that are very aspiring. Greg is the CEO and president of Southside Community Federal Credit Union. He was also named a poet laureate at Morehouse College. So, for you Morehouse graduates, you want to look at Greg's work. Greg has 4 books that he has authored, and this is the one that we're giving away to one of our viewers. The winner will be announced at the end of the month, and that is Journey of My Soul. Also, go to rrgbc.org where you can purchase items and donate to support our organization. And we finally ask you to go to Save Black Bookstores Chicago change.org at change.org. Save Black Bookstores Chicago at change.org and sign our petition. We want our local schools and our local libraries to give contracts to our independent bookstores and especially our Black bookstores. This is where our history is, this is where our perspective is. And so we want to support them. And again, please support Sneakerville here in Bronzeville and Chicago. And so I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. And because we lost the signal with